here's your pelvis. And then all of this red at the base of the pelvis. So all the muscle that's at the base, if you think of, you put your hands on your bones because you're listening and you think about, oh, my bones connect. And at the bottom of my body, if I thought of my body as like a can of like Chef Boyardee, right, with legs attached, the bottom of the can, that's your pelvic floor. And you see that here. And it's a complex network of muscles that are moving in all different directions. So they're not just up and down or straight, but there are lots of different orientations to the muscles, and they all work together. They're all integrated to move, and they do it automatically. You can consciously control the pelvic floor, like with Kegels. So a lot of times if people have any pelvic floor issues, a practitioner will be like, oh, you need to do Kegels, because even now, although this is getting better, the mindset and the narrative for a lot of people is that if your pelvic floor isn't working, it must be weak. So a lot of times people are like, I need to strengthen my pelvic floor, but that's not necessarily true. So a lot of times people are told they need to strengthen their pelvic floor by squeezing it. So you can actually squeeze, if you try to think about like squeezing or stop, if you're a woman stopping the flow of pee, if you're a man just kind of like lifting up a little bit and squeezing, you can do that. You can consciously activate and, retract and recruit the muscles there. But the pelvic floor is actually really designed to work automatically. It moves with breath. It turns on automatically before you move your shoulder, before you heel strike when you're running. And so if we're having a problem with it not doing its job, which is to recruit when it needs to be, to create stability in the pelvis, if you think it's the muscles at the base of your hips, when you walk, when you jog, when you climb, when you jump, those muscles will help to stabilize the pelvis. But then they also need to relax, because any muscle that recruits and contracts, it needs to also relax so it can move through its full range of motion. You wouldn't walk around with your biceps like, flex all the time.
Always
right?
in gun mode.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm always there. It's like, well, you can't use it. It's not ready for you, right? So you need to like move it for its full range of motion. Pelvic floor is the same thing, which is why it's a problem that a lot of people, when they have issues, are told to just tighten it more. Because interestingly enough, if you're lacking stability in the body, either because of what's going on in your feet or because of how you breathe and everything, your pelvic floor will turn on and try and artificially create that stability for you and create a lot of tension. So for somebody that already has tension in recruitment, you don't want to tell them to keep pulling and squeezing.